locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke loves wrestling.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
This is Sophia Vee, and you are now listening to Duke Loves Wrestling.
Brothers and sisters, on the eve of Thanksgiving, I decided, you know what? Let me bring on one of my favorite people in this entire content creator space, because I'm thankful for her and her wonderful friendship. So, as my gift to the world, the awesome, internationally famous Sophia Vee. What's going on there, Sophia?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am amazing.
Yes, you are. Listen, I know that you're somebody who everybody knows who you are all over the world. It doesn't matter if we're talking in, Boston in the United States, or we're
Boston, yep.
All over Uganda. I mean, you're pretty world famous, huh?
Yeah.
How does that feel? How does it feel to be somebody that you literally could be in almost any country in the world and people know who you are?
I don't know. I don't think about it. How does it feel? It feels, I don't know. It feels well, I can't say I know any other way, but
tell me about a time when you were walking down the street anywhere and people were like, hey, aren't you Sophia?
Yeah, but I always say, and I know I'm going to bait myself up now, but if somebody comes up to me on the street and they're like, hey, are you the so-and-so? Like, are you Sophia? Or, any of my previous stage names, I just deny it. I say no. When I was before, like a few years ago, when I used to work on TV, right?
Yeah.
I used to get it a lot. But when people used to come up to me, I would say no English. So when you say to somebody no English, they can't continue the conversation because they think you're some foreign person that don't speak English. And so I always used to say no English, and I'd be confused, looking at them with a puzzled face, no English, what are you talking about? And they would be so confused, and they would be like, oh, okay then, and walk off.
Now, so why would you say that? Why would you say no English? Because you don't want people to know it's really you?
Well, it's different, right? I'm famous for, a lot of these people have seen me in very intimate ways. I don't know how PG I can talk on here.
Listen, this is not a PG show. You say whatever you want.
Okay, so a lot of these guys, for example, have seen me naked, right? So I don't want to, it's not like I don't want to, obviously, I'm not going to say the whole world has seen me naked, but it's not hard to see me naked. And then, I don't know, I just found it really, I don't know, I get shy, knowing, if someone's in front of me and they're like, oh my God, are you that girl? Knowing that God knows what they've seen me do. So I'm like, wow, that's okay. No, I'd rather not, I don't know, maybe it's not logical, but it kind of made sense to me at the time.
Well, no, I think it's very logical, and I think there are a lot of people in different forms of sports and entertainment who feel the same exact way. I mean, when you're performing, when you are presenting your persona, you're working. And when you're not working, you're your regular self. And when you're your regular self, you don't want to have to be on. You don't have to be on stage. You don't want to have to live up to expectations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And then obviously people think I'm this raging rabbit who's just ready to go all the time. And also another thing is a girl had got acid thrown in her face because some guy recognized her and she wasn't entertaining him. And so this happened years ago. And since that happened, it was kind of a thing where girls kind of knew you got to be careful out here, because some of these guys are crazy.
Yeah, no, it's true. They get obsessed, and again, they're fixated on a persona, not processing the fact that this is a real person behind that persona, and more importantly, whether it be the persona or the real person, you don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah.
So for any kind of observer, fan, whatever they want to call themselves, just because they may see you in real life, that doesn't mean you owe them anything. So it's interesting because, we see it even in the WWE where Sonya Deville, she had that stalker who went so far as to literally, he was outside of her. He got into the house, but her security system went off and she was able to call the cops and they got the guy before anything could happen. But this dude had all kinds of weapons and stuff in his car, tape and all kinds of rope.
Oh my God, that is crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And it all stemmed from this person just being obsessed with this wrestling character.
Yeah.
And so, hey, I understand. I understand completely. I wonder, because again, you're an internationally known model. Like you said, you're an adult performer and people know who you are and have known you for years and what have you.
Yeah.
How do people react when they find out? I don't even want to say when you tell them, when they find out that you're a pro wrestler. Not only are you a pro wrestling fan, you're a big pro wrestling fan.
I don't know. People think it's really strange, and I don't know why it's strange. You know what I mean? Like, people get so shocked. They're like, "Oh my God, do you like wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Wow, I would never assume like you would like wrestling." I don't think that to watch wrestling, you like there is a type of uniform or like a type of look that you can tell this person is definitely a wrestling fan. There's all kinds of wrestling fans and all over the world in every single country. WWE has a reputation and an audience. So I don't know. I do get a lot of people shocked, so shocked, like they can't believe it. I don't know why though.
Well, it's because you're this big glam. You look like somebody, whether people know who you are or not. You look like you're somebody famous. So, in fact, you look like you should be on the TV screen, whether it be a wrestler or who have you. So the fact that you're a fan of that world and you know it so well, you can speak to the history and you have strong opinions about what you see today and what have you. Yeah, people are shocked. Have you ever noticed you don't really see a lot of people who look like you that are as big wrestling fans as you are?
No, I don't. And I think maybe that's kind of like an advantage.
Yeah, you stick out. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. You definitely stick out. Do you go to live wrestling shows when you get a chance? I mean, when's the last time you actually saw wrestling live?
So the last event I actually saw was a New Japan event.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How was that?
It was cool. I got to see FTR and Will Ospreay and the what are they called? Aussie Empire, Aussie United. I don't know, the crew, the tag team.
Yep.
Aussie Empire. Yeah, they were pretty. Okada. Who else was there? Pretty much everybody in the roster was there. They were really cool. It was really cool. Yeah. So that was the last thing. I want to go. I want to go to America now and watch that. I actually want to go so bad to OVW and just, I really want to see. I know Haley's kind of like departing from OVW now, but I want to go to OVW and I want to see Haley. And just kind of like watching that show made me love that promotion. So I definitely want to go to WWE, of course, but the next thing is OVW. I definitely want to go and see OVW.
Okay, so this is very interesting because not only am I a fan of OVW, I have, we've had some of the OVW folks here on the show, starting all the way back to Al Snow, who's been a guest on the show, but certainly former women's champ Layla Gray, certified Luke Curtis, who he's held a couple titles there. And now we also have Tiffany Nieves, who's the current women's champ. So I find this interesting. So the Netflix docuseries that they have, Wrestlers, that made you an OVW fan?
Absolutely. Absolutely, definitely. I didn't want the show to end. I'm like, when's season 2 coming? Reach out to Al Snow. We've got to have a season 2. It's really good, and I think for like non-wrestling fans, it provides like an insight, you know, into like the logistics and like just how the behind the scenes of a wrestling promotion. I know it's not on a like big scale like WWE, but it, you know, it's so cool. I really love that show.
You got to see a lot of the real people behind the show, and
Yeah.
I guess for somebody like yourself who is in the entertainment industry, for lack of a better phrase there, you can understand that there's actually a real person behind that persona.
Definitely. Yeah.
And they seem to show all of it.
I was like, dude, this girl, like, she's so sick, and sick means good, by the way, for those who don't understand my lingo. I was just like, this girl's so sick. Like, I want her to be, you know, in WWE. Like, I think she's sick, and she has like an X factor. You know, she has something about her that definitely draws you into her, you know. So I want to see her. I want to see her like on the level of Charlotte Flair, or, you know, any of the other ladies who are in WWE. And she's got time. She's still young, so hopefully they do sign her at some point. Wow.
Well, listen, Hollyhood Haley J, if you're listening, you got a fan in Sophia Vee. Okay, Sophia, who's internationally known in her own right, she has been impressed with what you've done, especially on the wrestlers. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. What specifically, if you were to name one trait, what drew you into Hollyhood Haley J the most?
I think it's her attitude. It must be, right? She's super sassy. She's got an attitude, and she can stand up for herself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. She's just like really in your face. And some people don't like that, you know. Some people might be like, oh, she's so in your face. I like that. So I like it. I like her. I want her to, you know, excel.
Do you see yourself in that character at all? Because you can be an in your face person.
A little bit, yeah.
Come on now.
Maybe, you know, I would say, yeah, partially, but definitely. She knows, like, she okay, yeah, in the terms of, like, when the camera's watching, you know how to behave. She definitely knows how to, you know, switch it on. And I think because you got to see, like, her downside of her, like, working in a bar? She works in a bar in the Holiday Inn. And that's not her wrestling character. And she's kind of mellow, and she's not in your face there, you know. And she's just like a normal girl or a normal lady. And then when she goes into the wrestling ring, she's super loud and like rowdy. So, you know, you got to see how she is so good at creating this character. And she knows how to play up to the audience. And that is one of the most vital things a wrestler needs. If you want to be on TV, you need to be an entertainer. If you want to wrestle on TV, not wrestle like in the indies, and I love the indies, and that is wrestling. But if you want to go on TV, a lot of that is just entertainment. And she definitely has that.
Well said. Who else? I mean, when you think about 2023, who are some of the wrestlers that you personally find yourself connected to, like you really enjoy what they've been doing this past year, and you want to see them continue to excel?
Zoey Stark is definitely somebody. I wouldn't say like I was really, you know, impressed by her wrestling in NXT, but I don't know, for some reason, I think when she went up to the main roster, I think there was more, I don't know, I got to see more of her. Because NXT, like, there's so much going on. There's so many new people. There's like just a lot going on, and it's just hard to, you know, focus on one person. And maybe in NXT she didn't really get the attention so much. She's a phenomenal wrestler, right? And so I think I'm really excited that she is, you know, killing it and doing so well on the main roster. That's one person. Who else? who else? Let me think. I like Carmello Hayes. I think he's great. I think like Carmello reminds me, like, I don't know if you see it, but he's like the black Shawn Michaels. A lot of the things that he does, you can definitely see that influence from Shawn Michaels. And I know like that's his like godfather in wrestling. So you can definitely see the influence. Like I can see it. I don't know. Can you see it?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And shout out to Carmello Hayes. He's from Massachusetts, not too far from where I'm from. So
nice.
It's great to see him excel. And you're right. Shawn Michaels has personally spent a lot of time developing Carmello and getting him ready to be a superstar. So, yeah, there's a lot with the way that he carries himself and his instincts in the ring and what have you. You can definitely see that Shawn is rubbing off. So that's a big one there. And just to back up on Zoey Starks, she was injured for half the time she was in NXT.
Yeah, I know.
So that was part of the reason why you didn't see her as much, but you're absolutely right. She actually is a very good wrestler. She just needs the opportunity to show what she can do. And certainly at the last pay-per-view, she really did a great job.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
definitely.
I was very impressed. And I mean, I've followed her career since the beginning.
Yeah.
Because she's wrestled, she's done some stuff with Thunder Rosa and
nice.
Rosa Negra and those folks on the indies out here. So
yeah.
I know she can go. We just hadn't seen much of it yet in WWE. But, over the past couple of months, you're right. She's really shown that she belongs on that main roster. So that's another good call there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I don't know. I feel like there has been a shift. I don't know, is it like let's say like 2 years ago, the focus, it was very, I wouldn't say like sexualized, but it was very based on like really sexy girls, right? Who were good wrestlers. And like you might get a girl who is beautiful, but maybe maybe it's not her thing to be like super flirty and, like just really enticing. That's not her character, but like she's a phenomenal wrestler. They didn't get opportunities because maybe the camera, like, you're trying to sell a brand and maybe they just thought, who's gonna support a girl like this? Because at the end of the day, men are the ones who are buying the merch and stuff, and generally the men would go for like the sexy girl, right? They're gonna buy the sexy girl. They have a crush on her. Stuff like that. So I think that I think now I'm seeing like a kind of shift where we're getting girls who are actually really good in like wrestling, and it's not just like somebody here to like shake their tits and ass kind of thing,
You're absolutely right. And I'll take it a step further. I think that they're starting to find the right balance of beauty and wrestling ability. I mean, obviously Bianca Belair, she's as beautiful as anyone who's ever been in wrestling, right?
Yeah.
You look at Tiffany Stratton, who's in NXT
absolutely.
right now. She is completely gorgeous, but with Bianca and Tiffany in their own ways, these are excellent wrestlers.
Definitely. I think she's got a huge career in front of her, Tiffany. She is so good. She can actually do moonsaults without looking sketchy, you know?
Yeah, which we've seen a lot of people be sketchy trying to do those moonsaults, landing on their face and all that. Yeah, just
dude. A lot of these girls, they can't, and it's kind of, I won't say like it's embarrassing because look, credit for trying, but like sometimes when I see like it just looks really bad, and that is what gives women's wrestling. Like people just think, I don't want to watch them because this is what they do, It kind of gives women's wrestling a bad name because they don't take women's wrestling serious until they see somebody like Bianca or Zoey or Tiffany, somebody like that who can actually make something look good and actually perform well as well.
Well, and it's funny. Each of those women that you just named were excellent athletes before wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. That definitely helps. I think so. I think that's why WWE started this scholarship because I think they figure out like, you know what, this is where you're gonna find the X factor because even in the past, like with the guys, a lot of them had come from NFL or like football from school, right? And like wrestling from school. They're like athletes, high school athletes. And I think that definitely helps them.
It sure does. It sure does, because you not only do you have to be in great shape, but just the ability to be disciplined enough to
Yeah.
work at something and improve. That alone separates somebody who's a true athlete compared to someone who was just a fan growing up. And unfortunately, a lot of the people who were just a fan growing up and maybe didn't excel in sports, they don't tend to do too well in wrestling, or at least they don't tend to stick around too long.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
and it's unfortunate. I wonder about something, because obviously anybody listening, and Sophia is one of my great friends in the community. She's someone that we interact on a regular basis. She's always suggesting guests, which is
Yeah.
just so cool. I've helped out with some guests on her shows before as well, but just a real great thought partner, and I appreciate you so much for that. But for anyone who doesn't know, obviously you can hear an accent there. So your accent is a British accent, right?
Yeah, it's a London accent.
London accent specifically. So I got to ask, because I don't really hear or see you on social media talking too much about the British wrestling scene. So what's that all about? Are you not interested, or is there just not enough going on in the part
There's
of
not enough going on. I mean, like, okay, so we do have Will Ospreay.
the one guy?
But the thing is, like, honestly, like I know so many people who don't know who Will Ospreay is. You know what I mean? Like, he's known, don't get me wrong, and he's still rising up the ranks, and he's a phenomenal athlete for sure. Like, that's no doubt. However, he's not. If I went to like South Africa, and I was in Cape Town, and I said to a random person, like, do you know who Will Ospreay is? They might not be like, yeah, but if you say, oh, do you know who Roman Reigns is? They're going to know who that is. Even my friend, yeah, she's from Kuwait. And she's got sons. And, like, they don't watch wrestling. They're young. They're, like, 8. But they know who Roman Reigns is. Like, that's how, like, like, everyone knows who he is. Like, even if you don't watch wrestling, people just know who he is. He's that guy.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And again, that shows the reach of WWE compared to anything else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So because of that, even in your local area there, there's just not enough going on that you would even know where to start, huh?
No, nothing.
That's interesting. Now, in your circle of friends over there, I'm not talking the internet, I'm talking real life. Do you have wrestling fans in your circle of friends?
No.
People tell me that all the time, right?
Yeah.
A lot of our friends who we talk to within the wrestling community online, and especially people who are professionals, they have real serious things going on in life. You run a whole business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got a whole brand that you have to maintain, and you're very serious about the way that you do that, which I love.
Yeah.
There are so many people that have similar things going on, and they'll tell me flat out, hey man, I just like talking wrestling to you and other people because I don't have anybody, here that I can do that with. And I find that so fascinating, because it's like, wow, thank God for the internet, right?
Absolutely. Twitter, I think X, whatever you want to call it, I think if you look on the timelines, I think majority of people are like myself, who go and chat about wrestling because they have no one in real life to text and say, oh my God, did you just see that? While they're watching SmackDown. And so they go on the, X, and it's in real time. So you can actually talk to people while the event is going on. And it's fun. I think it actually enhances the experience of watching wrestling. I actually love. So I deleted X at the moment just because I was reading the news 24 hours a day, about this stuff in Gaza. And so I had to delete it because it was taking, I would just not work. And I was just I wanted to know what is going on. This is really sad. But prior to that, I'm always on Twitter, when there is a SmackDown or Raw or NXT or a premium live event. I love going on there and I love chatting with those people I've never met in my life and, you know, just chatting about wrestling.
I love it. I love it. And that's the thing. To be able to find people who share the same passions that you share, I mean, that means a lot. That's the difference between feeling like you can be fulfilled on different levels and feeling like you're missing something.
Yeah, definitely.
I can remember growing up, being a wrestling fan, you almost had to fight because so many people would make fun of it. And, oh, it's fake. And what are you a wrestling fan for? What have you, that it literally was something that you either did not talk about or you had to stand firm. And I was a guy who always stood firm about it. Even as a young kid in kindergarten, I was always like, yes, I'm a wrestling fan. I love Ric Flair. I love Hulk Hogan. I don't care. And it's funny because even adults who have known me my whole life, if I haven't seen them for a while and I'll see them at, different holiday functions, they'll be like, do you still watch wrestling? Aren't you the kid who loves wrestling? And it's like, yep, that's still me. And everyone has a laugh about it because it's like, wow, that's really something that was a passion of yours. But it took time to find other kids who were into it and who were willing to talk about it. And it really wasn't until when we hit the Monday Night Wars, when it was WWF versus WCW, and we had Raw and Nitro, SmackDown and Thunder, and these TV shows were on, and wrestling became even more mainstream, then suddenly it became cool to be a wrestling fan. But in the early 80s, you really couldn't talk about it too much without getting laughed at. So to transform now to where we are today, where online we have entire communities to communicate about it, it's fascinating. It's fascinating to see the evolution. Looking forward to 2024, do you have any big predictions? What do you expect to see happen in 2024 in pro wrestling?
So I hope that Carmello gets called up. I hope that Tiffany gets called up. Who else is on NXT that I want to see? Let me think. I think Braun will get called up, and who else? I don't know if. So I think Roxy and Cora are very cute, and I don't know what would happen to them, because when they're good wrestlers. And I think NXT, like, you can look young. It's cool there because it's kind of like the young people. This is where the youngers are. But like, when like, for example, seeing a match with Roxy and someone like Charlotte Flair. Like, Charlotte Flair's like a grown woman, and Roxy, I know she's young. She's not that young, but she does have a baby face. I don't know. It just doesn't really. It doesn't make me want to watch it. No offense to Roxy, she's a great wrestler, but I don't know. Like, it's just who would they pair her with that would make logical sense, that would actually look good.
That's a good point that I want to stay on for a second here, because Roxy actually is young. I think she's only about 21. She couldn't be more than 22, but I think she's only about 21 years old.
Yeah.
So you're saying that her youthful look, it makes it difficult for you to suspend disbelief because she looks too young to be in there with older looking folks, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
I find that
I felt the same way about LA Knight when he was in NXT. I never used to like LA Knight, by the way. I like him now, but it just didn't make sense. It was like he was wrestling these boys who were like 18, 19, and he's like some grown man, and it just didn't, it didn't make sense to me whatsoever. Like, I just couldn't get into LA Knight on NXT. I used to, and those days I was watching like NXT hard because I didn't really have to wake up in the morning. I was starting to work a bit later, so I was watching NXT religiously, and I just couldn't get into LA Knight as a character because I felt like he would wrestle guys that looked like, I don't know, it didn't work for me. But then when he went to the main roster, he's wrestling men who it just works. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and it makes sense. I mean, some of these kids look like they could be his children.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was like thinking, what the hell?
And technically, they probably could be. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not wrestling Roxy, but Roxanne, legitimately, I think she's young enough to be his kid.
Yeah,
So,
she is.
So that's interesting that you. I never really thought about that before, but as you say it, it makes perfect sense. And that was the issue with Dom Mysterio at first, because he has such a baby face. They had to kind of man him up a little bit in order for him to be taken seriously, right?
Absolutely, and it's worked. It's worked wonders.
Yeah. The whole prison Dom stuff that really kind of turned the tide for him, because pretending to be a tough guy who went to jail and now he's got tattoos and all this other stuff, you kind of see it. It's that young punk kid who turns into a punk man.
Yeah.
But we know those people in life. It makes sense. You know what I mean? There's logic behind it. That's funny. Now, what about AEW? We're talking a lot about WWE. What are your thoughts on AEW just in general?
I'll be honest with you. I don't watch AEW, and I did watch the last pay-per-view I actually watched was the one in England. I personally, I don't like blood. Like, I really don't like blood. I don't like blood. Like, I don't want to see somebody dripping blood on another human being. That freaks me out. I think that's very unhygienic. It just doesn't work for me. I don't. So I like John Moxley. I really do. I love his character. I think he's like a badass. You know what I mean? He's got this like badass, I don't give a fuck about anything character. It's just, it works for him. But I don't want to watch him being like mutilated. That I don't find that entertaining. I'm like, oh my God, this is disgusting. You need to go to the hospital. What the fuck are you doing?
So wait a second. Did you see Adam Page versus Swerve from this past weekend? Okay.
I'm hearing everyone's saying you've got to watch it, but if you don't like blood, I mean, even David LaGreca was like, you've got to watch it. It's pretty good. I don't know, because the last one I watched, freaking John Moxley, you know, the kebab sticks, I don't know what you call them there. Yeah. He pinned them in his head and they were hanging there, and that's not enjoyable to me. That just freaks me out.
Yeah. They call it skewers, the skewer spot.
Yeah.
Which is popular in deathmatch.
That ain't cool, you know? And so, but I'm really good. I'm glad that Swerve is doing well, because I wouldn't say like I liked him in WWE. I'm not going to lie and say, yeah, like I used to, you know, I'm a Hit Row fan, and no, but it's good to see, you know what, he's gone over there and he's actually, you know, killing it in terms of he's doing so much better than he was at WWE. Yeah,
and who knows? Maybe they will actually
bring him back now, because he's getting like a household name, you know.
Well, I think he has a long-term contract in AEW, but you know, AEW should do the right thing and at least put him in the title picture, because they've never had a black man challenge for the world title in a feud. I mean, I think Scorpio Sky may have had a title shot once.
Yeah.
But overall, they've never had a black man that they've pushed to the point where it's like, wow, that guy could beat the champion. That guy could be the champion.
Yeah, they should definitely.
Absolutely. And it's silly to me, because you have a guy like Tony Khan, where he's a person of color. He owns a NFL team. He owns a European soccer team.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he has built his pro wrestling company in such a way where it's very clear and it's very obvious that white men are who needs to be on top for him. And then everybody else is everybody else. And oh my God, if you're a woman, it's even worse, because you might get a match today and then we don't see you on TV wrestling again for another month or two. You know, it's just a very strange psychology that he has when it comes to what he chooses to focus on. And more importantly, what he's not focusing on, which would probably make him more money. So for a guy like Swerve, if he can make it at least into the main event, I'm not necessarily saying he has to be champion, but at least be a guy who can challenge the champion and have a real feud. That, will probably help the company in a lot of ways, right?
Absolutely. And I do think he has star quality. Like when I watched him come out with, what's his name? The DJ.
Prince Nana, you talking about?
No, DJ Who Kid was with
Who Kid, yeah.
England, right?
Yeah,
and he came out like a star. Like he had the aura, like I'm that guy. And, I don't know why, like you said, Tony Khan, I don't know why, because he has star quality. He's a good wrestler, but he also has that like star quality, that X factor to be an entertainer,
Agreed 100%. So again, Tony Khan, I know that you listen. Most of the time you hate listening. I'm going to keep saying it. You need to feature more women, and you need to feature more Black and brown men of color in the singles title picture. There's just no reason why it shouldn't happen. We live in a society today where diversity actually matters, equitable diversity, and people like us, we would actually pay more attention to your program if we knew that you were serious about equitable diversity. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Anyway, so Sophia, I have Thanksgiving coming up.
That's really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a time to obviously give thanks for people in your life and what have you, and eat a lot of great food and what have you. So if I want to do something that my family won't expect, if I want to bring a dish that is not too hard to make or what have you here, give me something from Uganda. Give me something that's really African and what have you.
Uganda.
Let's end on this. Yeah, let's end on this. Huh?
So Ugandans eat fried tilapia. I think you can get tilapia. I know that they
not only can I get tilapia, I just had tilapia for dinner last night.
So like Ugandans fry it with like a bit of, so the seasoning is garlic, ginger, like fresh garlic, ginger, and then a bit of turmeric. And that's it, I think. A little bit of garam masala. If you need to go to those Indian shops and get all your Indian seasonings and just fry the fish in hot oil, and that's and then they put it in. So basically, this is what they do. They get like fillets of the fish, and then they get garlic and ginger rub around the fish, and then in a separate bowl you'll get like plain white flour. And then put salt, flour, turmeric. Do you like chili? I don't know. Do you like spicy food?
It depends. I mean, I can do it or I can not do it. Will it dramatically change the taste if I don't have it?
No, I mean, if you like chili, you can add it. If you don't like chili, don't add it. It's one of those things. And then just like mix the flour with turmeric and salt, black pepper, and garam masala. Mix that, and then put your fish in the flour, and then fry it, and then it comes out really crispy, and it's so nice.
Wow! See, now you have me wondering now, because I'll probably do grocery shopping again this weekend, so I might have to get some more tilapia and try this out.
Yeah, you should definitely. But your house will stink like fish. There's a hack. If you can get what is it called? Cardamom. Is it cardamom? If you boil cardamom, I think you get like 10 cardamom stalks, and you boil them in a separate pan while you're frying the fish. It absorbs the fish smell. Because when you fry fish, your whole house will stink like fish, and that is the only downside of that.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people, my family's from Jamaica, and they use a lot of lemon or vinegar to try to cut the fishy smell and what have you this. But you're saying cardamom, boiled cardamom will absorb it. Huh. Yeah. I'm going to have to try that. Now, what about sides? What do you have with the fried tilapia?
Cassava. So do you do like Jamaicans eat cassava? I don't know.
Sure do.
Do you eat cassava chips?
So I've seen it online. I've never had cassava chips, but we usually get the boiled cassava. We will eat it boiled with plantains or what we could say plantain, cassava, plantain, and ackee and saltfish. That's like a normal Jamaican breakfast.
Okay, so cassava, but so you think of French fries, or like we call it chips, but make cassava.
Wow.
the chip. Oh my days, it is so good. I swear to God, it's so good. I like plantain too, but I like cassava more. Cassava chips are amazing. They're life changing. You gotta try. You gotta try them.
But it's thicker, and it's thicker than a regular potato, right?
But it comes out like crispy, like really crispy.
Yep.
And it's so nice if you get salt, and yeah, man, so good.
Now, do you dip it in ketchup or you just eat it plain?
You can do, but I feel like cassava has like a really like unique flavor. It's not like potatoes are bland. You know, like you need something with the potato. With cassava, you don't need. Just add salt and pepper, and you'll be fine. And then you've got your fish. And then what they do is like they'll make like a side little salad, but it's like grated onion, red onion, and tomato. So it's kind of like what's that? Like the Mexicans, pico de gallo, kind of like that, where it's like cilantro, tomatoes, and onion, and you finely cut them, and it's like a little salad, kind of like a little salad, and it's really tangy because you add lime, and it's so nice. So that right there, like the cassava, the fish, and the little salad, that right there is like the holy grail of Ugandan kind of like, I wouldn't say street food, but like just like comfort foods. Like I don't know what you call like burger and chips, or like fish and chips, or chicken and chips. That is what they eat. It's kind of like fish and chips because it is fish, but it's cassava chips, and it's just so good.
I love. Now, what are we washing it down with? Let's end it on this. What's the drink that can finish this dish off?
So I know like Jamaicans love their ginger beer. Do you like ginger beer? Of
course, absolutely.
So in East Africa and Central Africa, they have there's a famous Jamaican brand that is like international renowned ginger beer. I don't know what the brand is called.
Well, you're either talking about D&G or you're talking about Grace.
I have no idea. It's in my head. It's that brand. That's the brand. It's like they make but in Uganda and in Central Africa we got Stony. It's called Stony. So ginger is tangawizi in Swahili. It's like the words ginger. How you say it in Swahili is tangawizi. So the drink is called Stony tangawizi. Basically, it's like strong ginger is the meaning of it, and it's like a ginger beer but more strong, like super gingery. If that makes any sense.
Wow, and I love that.
Yeah, it's really good. And so we drink it with like a ginger beer, or they've got Fanta, but like the lemon one. I don't know if you see the one. So the one in Africa, the Fanta, the lemon one, is sour. It's not sweet, but in the West, it's sweet. I don't understand that.
Well,
it's weird.
What is sweet? The lemon?
The Fanta lemon.
I've never had a lemon Fanta. So we have orange, grape, strawberry. I've never seen a lemon Fanta before.
Yeah, so in Africa they have lemon Fanta. Wow. I think even in India, and do you know what? Actually, Indians do this thing where they put salt in their lemonades, yeah, and it's actually really nice. It's called nimbu pani, so it's like lime water. That's an Indian thing, but that could work really well. They put salt in their like lemonade, and it's like so nice. Try it. I don't know how they do it because I always had it like in a restaurant or like when I used to live in India. But the salt in the lemonade, it's so nice. It makes it like tangy.
Okay, so here we go again, because I made a fresh batch of lemonade last night, and this morning I took some tangerine and I cut them and juiced them, but then I took everything, including the rind, and I put it in the pot and boiled it down with a little bit of water and sugar, and then I blended all of that and then strained it. Mm-hmm. And I took that mixture and I added it to my lemonade. So I have like a lemon tangerine drink, which is just fantastic. Wow. But you're saying put some salt in it. So if I pour a glass of lemonade, what are we talking? Are we talking like a little shake? How much salt?
that is up to you, like how much you can, how much you want.
Oh, I'm gonna try
so
this.
I would say maybe like a quarter teaspoon. Maybe that's too much. Just below that.
Okay. All right. Now listen, Sophia, if this doesn't taste good, I am going to have you canceled. Okay.
No, but without the tangerine, see, with the tangerine, I think that might cause a bit of difficulty because I can't say I've tried it with tangerine.
Oh, technicality.
You know what I mean? So it has to be like lemonade, straight, pure lemonade with nothing else in it.
You see how smart she is, folks? She made sure she wasn't going to take any kind of negativity from the tangerine. So she saved herself. I'm going to have to finish this batch first before I make the Sophia Vee lemonade here.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Trust me, it's really good.
All right, I'm gonna try it, and then I'm gonna post it online, a review. So you're gonna have to send me the name of this drink from the Indian name, so I can make sure I have it.
Nimbu Pani. So Nimbu means lemon, lime in Hindi, and then Pani means water.
Wow, see that? She knows everything about Africa. She knows everything about England. She knows everything about India. I mean, goodness gracious. Okay, and you said you're going to be taking over the United States soon too, right?
Yeah.
All right. Internationally known Sophia Vee. If anyone wants to keep up with you and definitely check out what you have going on, they want to follow you, what's the best way they can do that?
So I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter, and the handle is Vocal Mind Sophia on every single platform. So my name is spelt with a PH, Sophia with a PH. So Vocal Minds Sophia with a PH is where you can find me.
And yes, guys, when you see it, if you haven't seen Sophia before, yes, that's her, this beautiful model lady who just gave you all the different recipes for fried tilapia and lemonade with salt. And by the way, she's this hot model lady too. So yes, she's all of these things. That's definitely her. It's not a bot. It's a real person. Do people think you're a bot at first?
No, but because I do lives, don't I? So
yeah, you do lives.
Good point. To me. Yeah.
Good point. Yep. She's always interacting with her fans. So yeah, good point.
If you ever want to talk about wrestling, whoever's listening, I love talking about wrestling. So you can always tweet me. I feel like Twitter's the place where we kind of, it's like the community, like everyone talks about wrestling. So you can tweet me, ask me anything about wrestling. I always love talking about wrestling.
Well, Sophia, we're going to have to find something as a backup other than Twitter, because if everyone's leaving Twitter, where are we going to catch you talking about wrestling now? Is it going to be?
I don't think. Do you think everyone's leaving Twitter?
I think so. Because the brands are leaving, I think the people are going to be following.
I don't know. I think they might come back though. The reason, okay, that's all. It's a different discussion, but. Media Matters are being sued, right? So let's see how that plays out, and if they do end up being held accountable, then I'm sure the brands will come back, because for Apple and is it IBM, they left because apparently their ads were being run next to anti-Semitic content by Media Matters, but I don't know if there's any evidence of that. So Elon's definitely taken them to court. And so let's see how that plays out. Right now there is so much crazy things going on in the world, unfortunately. But hopefully Twitter. No, I mean that's where we kind of hang out and talk about wrestling. I think if you make people move, it's just people are gonna get, I can't be bothered anymore kind of thing, because there is a wrestling scene on Reddit, and it's not really it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
No, it's very exclusive as opposed to being inclusive.
Yeah, they're not fun. They're not. There's no vibes there, man. It's dead.
No, and that's the thing.
Wrestling fans are dead.
Yeah. It's almost it's borderline incel sort of stuff.
They're hostile. You know what I mean? There's no fun, and it's not in real time because they don't allow you to post it because of spoilers. For some reason, they don't let you post it in real time on Reddit because they don't want the people who haven't watched it to know what happened, which makes no sense. But anyways, so they close the threads if SmackDown is on or Raw or something, they'll close it so you can't even post.
That's crazy. Now, what about Facebook? Have you given up on Facebook?
So I wasn't like Facebook is fun, but I think X is where it's at, man. Regarding wrestling conversations, you know, I haven't found another place that does it better.
Fair. See, Elon, you just got a shout out there from Sophia. She prefers the wrestling content on X, so you still have a fan.
Dude, if WWE leave, then maybe there's, you know, but I feel like they are pretty lenient in terms of like who they would work with. They don't really have like, oh, I'm not going to work with you because you do this. You know, just they're not like that, right? I mean, we can see that they have great ties with, you know, some countries that some people may deem what's the right word? I don't know the same what you would think of America.
Exactly, right? When you're outside of America, the way that everyone talks about us, you know.
Exactly.
There are a lot of Americans talking about other countries that way. And I'm going to just say this, and I could say this with you because you're somebody who is world traveled and educated, so you understand. Yeah. I think it's all silly. You know, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for example, they're far from perfect, and they got a lot of things wrong over there, a lot of things I don't agree with. But I'm going to tell you this. They have been a trade partner and a major part of the American economy going back to at least the 40s and probably even before then. So how the hell am I going to say the WWE shouldn't be doing business with Saudi Arabia when my own government does business with Saudi Arabia? You know, it's hypocrisy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to hold Saudi accountable for particular reasons, then look at your own government and see if they have ever done anything borderline even similar or probably way even worse than what Saudi Arabia doing. And then, come on, we can see Saudi changing in terms of like, I wouldn't say it's becoming westernized, and I hope it doesn't become westernized, because like in Africa as well, like, you know, I'm from Africa. If you go to Africa right now, pretty much apart from like, especially in East Africa, there's only one tribe left, which is the Maasai tribe, right? Who still wear the traditional attire. Like my tribe, they stopped wearing it. You know, you can't, like the culture is going. They all want to wear trousers and jeans and t-shirts, and that I don't like, because it's like, I want you to stay, just be proud of who you are. You don't need to wear a t-shirt. You don't need to wear, I mean, I'm not saying be naked, but wear the traditional clothes. Like I love indigenous people. You know, my ancestors and not even my ancestors, like my mom and that are indigenous. So, I don't want everyone to be westernized. And so like, I hope that Saudi Arabia doesn't become westernized in terms of like culture, but you can see women's rights. They're doing concerts there. You know, pretty much all the UFC and, you know, events are gonna UFC is probably gonna end up moving to Saudi full time eventually. They're changing.
Yeah, it's true. And again, it's not as if our government, and I'm talking about my government, the United States, we're not in a position to throw stones.
Never.
We just found out that there's a whole domestic spying program that has continued to go on. So we thought that stuff had ended under Bush 2, but no, Obama expanded upon it, where, you know, a particular phone company, AT&T, have been releasing private phone information, phone calls, and who's calling who and all that good stuff. They're releasing that to law enforcement, even for people who are not suspected of a crime. So that's just blatant domestic spying right there.
Yeah.
So when we start peeling back the layers, there's no government on this planet that is perfect. There's no government on this planet that doesn't have blood on their hands. That doesn't mean we shouldn't advocate for better. That doesn't mean we shouldn't hold them accountable. But my point is, you better look at your government first before you start trying to demand morality from these private or even publicly traded businesses. It's just silly. I don't expect WWE as an entertainment company not to do business with whoever the hell is going to pay them money.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. And
Yeah.
whether people want to admit it or not, those events that they've been holding in Saudi Arabia have featured women.
Absolutely.
And at first they couldn't do it. And then over time, now they can do it. And now there's just other things that they're chipping away. They're chipping away. They're chipping away. Is it perfect? No. Is there progress happening? Yes. So it is what it is, you know. But Sophia, seriously, on the eve of Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for our friendship. I appreciate you. You're always somebody that is always helpful to me and this show and my other show, Tells the Truth. And, you know, it's always cool to talk to you about wrestling and just life. You know, you're a humanitarian on top of everything else as well. So just you're a breath of fresh air. And, you know, I appreciate our friendship. And I can't wait to see what kind of collaborations we'll have in 2024.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to set up an NGO soon to provide, I want to do, so there's so many things I want to do, but like I want to do water just because my cousin is already doing it. So it's kind of like I don't need to like start from scratch. So some of my relatives who live in Tanzania, like my cousin, he's setting up water wells for people in rural communities in Tanzania. So something that I really want to, do and kind of liberate the motherlands. And then, there's just so much that we can do. So why not?
Don't change. Continue to be all the things. That's what you are. You're a little bit of everything, and that's what makes you special. So thank you very much.
My window is not even open, but I've got a thin window, so the noise just is crazy living in the city. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, this is Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man, and you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
Definitely head over to our friends over at liquidiv.com. Use the promo code Duke Loves Rasslin. That's all together, no spaces. Duke Loves Rasslin. You're going to save 20% off of your entire order with Liquid IV. It is something that I absolutely enjoy. I am a hydration stick lover. Okay, it is something that I've incorporated into my everyday routine these days. Hydration sticks are very important. You open it up, you put it in your bottle of water, shake that sucker up. You're getting all of your B vitamins. You're getting hydration on another level beyond just a regular bottle of water, and certainly we need it. This time of year with everything going on, you're going to be going to different places for the holidays. You're going to be running around shopping, especially Black Friday, whatever you have going on. Okay, you want to make sure that you stay hydrated. And one of the best ways to do so is with Liquid IV. And yes, you can go into the stores and purchase it. So, get it however way you want to get it. But if you want to save some money, use Duke Loves Rasslin at liquidiv.com. That way, 20% off, you can get even more. Okay, that's your entire order on liquidiv.com. So what are you waiting for? Shop better hydration today. That's right.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.